This episode on the November Challenge.
Too late. The laws of physics had already made their judgment, and they were not in Ethan's favor. Students turned as the commotion began. Gasps and surprised shouts echoed through the hallway. Ethan's flailing became more dramatic, his trajectory more inevitable, and directly in his...
Hey everyone, I'm Karen. Welcome to episode 1 of the November Challenge. This is my first story series on YouTube, so I don't want to go on too much, just to say that I really hope you like it. And if so, drop me a line. Alright, episode 1, without further ado.
Episode 1. The Collision.
The November Challenge.
The fluorescent lights of Jefferson High flickered slightly as the final bell of October 31st rang through the corridors. Within moments, the hallways transformed into a kaleidoscope of Halloween costumes, witches, zombies, superheroes, and creatures both recognizable and creative filled every corner. Orange and black streamers draped from locker to locker. Carved pumpkins grinned mischievously from windowsills, and hand-drawn posters announced in bold letters, "Halloween party tonight!" The energy was electric, infectious. Everyone seemed to be riding the wave of holiday excitement, their voices rising in animated chatter about the evening's festivities. Everyone, that is, except Ethan Chen. Ethan moved through the crowd like a ghost, invisible and uncertain, his shoulders slightly hunched as if trying to make himself smaller. His dark brown hair fell messily across his forehead, not in the artfully tousled way that seemed effortless on other guys, but in the "I forgot to look in the mirror this morning" way that marked him as perpetually awkward. His blue hoodie, worn and comfortable, served as both armor and camouflage in the sea of elaborate costumes surrounding him. He wasn't antisocial, exactly. He had friends, well, friend, singular. But moments like these, when the entire school seemed to pulse with a collective energy he couldn't quite tap into, made him feel like an outsider looking through a window at a party he wasn't invited to. Ethan's eyes scanned the crowded hallway, not looking for anyone in particular, or so he told himself. But then, as if drawn by some invisible force, his gaze landed on her, Maya Rodriguez. She stood near her locker, surrounded by a small group of friends, and even in the chaos of Halloween, she seemed to radiate something different. Her auburn hair caught the light as she turned, laughing at something someone had said. It wasn't the practiced, performative laugh some people use to fit in. This was genuine, warm, the kind of laugh that made you want to know what was so funny just so you could share in the joy. Maya was wearing a simple pastel sweater and jeans, no costume, but somehow she didn't need one. There was something effortlessly graceful about her. A natural confidence that drew people in without any apparent effort on her part. She was kind, too. Ethan had noticed that. Kind in the way that actually mattered, not just for show. Last week, when he'd dropped all his books in the cafeteria, she'd been the one to help him pick them up while others just stepped around the mess. He'd been harboring this quiet, impossible crush on her since the beginning of sophomore year, carefully guarding it like a secret too fragile to speak aloud. Time seemed to slow as Ethan watched her, the Halloween chaos fading into background noise. In his mind, he was rehearsing what he might say if he ever worked up the courage to approach her. Something casual, something witty, something that didn't make him sound like the awkward disaster he feared he was. And then, it happened. Maya turned, her conversation pausing in mid-sentence, and her eyes swept across the hallway. For one brief, electric moment, her gaze landed directly on him. Their eyes met, Ethan's heart stopped, then kicked into overdrive, pounding so loudly he's sure everyone around him could hear it. A wave of heat rushed to his face. Oh no. Oh no, 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 she'd caught me staring. How long had I been staring? Too long. Definitely too long. This was a disaster. Panic seized control of his body. Without thinking, Ethan took a step backward, instinctively trying to escape the situation, to break the connection before it became even more mortifyingly obvious. But in his flustered state, he forgot one crucial detail: spatial awareness. His foot caught on someone's abandoned backpack. His balance, already compromised by his backward momentum, wavered dangerously. "Whoa!" he started to say, his arms beginning to windmill in a desperate attempt to regain stability. It was too late. The laws of physics had already made their judgment, and they were not in Ethan's favor. Students turned as the commotion began. Gasps and surprised shouts echoed through the hallway. Ethan's flailing became more dramatic, his trajectory more inevitable, and directly in his path stood Zach Morrison. Zach was everything Ethan wasn't: confident, athletic, popular in that effortless way that seemed to come naturally to some people. His spiky blonde hair was perfectly styled, his varsity jacket hung just right, and even now, mid-conversation with one of his friends, he carried himself with the casual swagger of someone who'd never questioned his place in the social hierarchy. He was also, at this particular moment, holding a large cup of bright red fruit punch. "And then I'll plant the Dare Diary on some unsuspecting," Zach was saying to his companion, a mischievous grin playing across his features. He never got to finish that sentence. The collision was spectacular. Ethan crashed into Zach with the force of pure concentrated awkwardness, sending both of them stumbling. But it was the drink that stole the show. The cup flew from Zach's hand in a perfect arc, its contents launching into the air like a crimson fountain. For one suspended moment, the liquid seemed to hang there, defying gravity, catching the fluorescent light in 1,000 tiny droplets. Then reality reasserted itself. The punch came down in a spectacular cascade, drenching Zach from head to toe. The Halloween fell silent. Ethan, sprawled on the floor, looked up in horror at what he had done. Zach stood frozen, his arms slightly raised, dripping. Students formed a loose circle around them, some with phones already out. Then Zach's expression changed. The shock melted away, replaced by something darker, more dangerous. His eyes narrowed as they focused on Ethan with laser-like intensity. "What the?" he sputtered. You're dead meat." Ethan scrambled to his feet. I'm so sorry. It was an accident. I didn't mean..." "Oh, you're gonna be sorry, all right," Zach said, stepping closer. "You just made a huge mistake." From across the hallway, Maya watched the scene unfold, her hand raised to her mouth in surprise. Even in his panic, Ethan noticed her reaction. Great. Just great. As the crowd began to disperse, Ethan stood rooted to the spot, the full weight of what had just happened settling over him. He'd walked into school that morning as an invisible nobody. He was walking out as the kid who just declared war on one of the most popular guys in school.
What Ethan didn't know was that Zach Morrison had a plan. A dark blue notebook sat safely in Zach's locker, its cover bearing words written in silver ink: November Challenge. 30 days of carefully crafted dares, each one designed to humiliate, to destroy, to make someone wish they'd never crossed Zach Morrison. And now, Zach had found his perfect target. Tomorrow, that notebook would begin its work, and nothing would ever be the same.
All right, that's where we're stopping for now. But seriously, the windmill arms, did that make you laugh too? I was dying. Like, we've all been there, right? That moment when you're going down and you know you're going down, but your body's like, maybe if we flail hard enough. So, what did you think? Drop me a comment. Oh, and good news, episode 2 is out too. So you'll find out pretty quickly what's in that notebook. New episode every Tuesday and Friday at 2 p.m. Subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want a reminder from YouTube. Thanks for being here. See you on the next episode.